I appreciate you joining me today. We're going to be looking at the account of Jairus today. Our hymn is called Glorious Things of Thee Are Spoken. Okay, let's look at our passage. Now, pardon me, let me actually put it up there. That would be good if I did that. In Mark 5, verse 21, Now when Jesus had crossed over again by boat to the other side, a great multitude gathered to him, and he was by the sea. Behold, one of the rulers of the synagogue came, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and begged him earnestly, saying, My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live. So Jesus went with him, and a great multitude followed him and thronged him. Now, this is the account where the woman with the flow of blood interrupts, and we'll look at that tomorrow. But, of course, the Lord heals that woman, and then it picks back up. Okay, so verse 34 is where he speaks to the woman who he's just healed. Now, verse 35, While he was still speaking, some came from the ruler of the synagogue's house, who said, Your daughter is dead, why trouble the teacher any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the ruler of the synagogue, Do not be afraid, only believe. And he permitted no one to follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. Then he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and saw a tumult, and those who wept and wailed loudly. When he came in, he said to them, Why make this commotion and weep? The child is not dead, but sleeping. And they ridiculed him. But when he had put them all outside, he took the father and the mother of the child, and those who were with him, and entered where the child was lying. Then he took the child by the hand, and said to her, Talitha cumi, which is translated, Little girl, I say to you, arise. Immediately the girl arose and walked, for she was 12 years of age, and they were overcome with great amazement. But he commanded them strictly that no one should know it, and said that something should be given her to eat. Okay, I thought we might especially focus in on these verses. And the first thing I wanted to mention, the Lord strictly tells them, no one should know it. He had put everyone out. He goes in with the parents and with Peter, James, and John. But all the tumult, all those who are ridiculing, and we'll talk about the ridiculing here in a second, he puts all them out. He had said she's sleeping. Okay? They're at the top. He says, Why are you weeping? The child is not dead but sleeping. They ridicule him. He puts them all out. What I wanted you to consider is, what would the majority of the people think then? If Jesus shows up and says, she's not dead, she's sleeping, they ridicule him. Obviously, they don't believe it. They don't believe that. They don't believe it at that point. But then all of a sudden, the parents come out, and their daughter's with them. But he has strictly warned them, don't tell anybody what's happened. Now, what would the majority of people think then? Would the majority of people think, well, I guess she was just asleep? Maybe she had just fainted. Maybe she was, didn't know what a coma was then, but we do now. But what would the majority think? Now, why does the Lord do this? The Lord tells people more than once, don't tell anybody about this. And he's trying to deal with different issues, to frankly put it in a nutshell. But another aspect of it may be they ridiculed him. They didn't believe. He tells Jairus, just believe. But those people, they didn't believe. Well, then you don't get to witness it. You might think about that. It's interesting. But to consider, it's like, well, what would the majority of people have thought? Unless the parents end up speaking out of turn and not doing what the Lord said. But you might consider it. Now, back to the account. Why does the Lord tell them to give her something to eat? And they are just dumbfounded. They were overcome with great amazement. And so he tells them to do something normal. And they're going to go on with their lives. They're going to go on with their lives with this little girl. And it's, for all intents and purposes, it's going to be a normal life. And he just said, give her something to eat. You know what? Let me put it another way. Did he say give her something to eat? Did he do that for the little girl's benefit or for the parents' benefit? There's that aspect of it. I wonder if another aspect, just as we're thinking about it, I wonder if another aspect of it is, do you remember after the resurrection when Jesus eats and he talks about how, I can't remember how he phrases it, that a spirit does not have flesh and bones, and there he is eating with them, and it's like, it's me. And I wonder what the parents would have thought about their daughter. It's like, oh, and it's just her, she's a ghost. Like, no, he's raised her from the dead. You don't believe it? Give her something to eat. Anyway, might think about that aspect of it as well. But then the third thing I wanted to mention is that the people who ridiculed Jesus. And what a sadness. They ridiculed him. People still ridicule the whole idea of the resurrection. They still mock it. They still make fun of it. They'll sit there and they'll say they believe that, the Lord formed Adam from the dust. Some of them probably don't even believe that. But they claim to believe that God formed Adam from the dust, but yet they ridicule the idea that God can reform Adam from the dust. The word resurrection, literally it means to stand up again. And it's the resurrection of the dead. It's not our soul that dies. It's our body. It's a bodily resurrection. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in honor. But it is raised. And so some people just ridicule it. And you know what the Lord tells people who ridicule the resurrection? There's the door. That's what he told all these folks. That's what he told all of them. When he had put them all outside, that's an impressive picture. And by that I mean it should make an impression on us. When he had put them all outside, he took the father and mother of the child, those who were with him, and entered where the child was lying. And they got to see the little girl come back to life. All those who ridiculed, there's the door. We should believe in the resurrection. The resurrection has already started because Jesus is the first fruits of the resurrection. And so we say, praise the Lord. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.